I think many photographers hate reels because we feel like it takes value away from our still photographs. Ever since the first image was taken in 1826, photography has been meant to be consumed in still format, and if you wanted moving pictures, you would just go watch a film. But I did sort of realize recently that there is a unique opportunity for photographers to post reels and sort of connect more with your audience. And in this video, I'm going to talk about that. I'm also going to talk about going viral, at least by my standards, on Instagram Reels recently, and sort of give some examples of reels that I think can help show and tell a bigger story and give more context to your still photographs without taking away or making super cringy reel content. How's it going, guys? My name is John Fernandez. I'm a full-time videographer and photographer living in New York City. And in my last video, I posted a POV street photography video. And towards the end of that video, I showed me kind of capturing a reel, the behind the scenes of capturing a reel, which literally took me less than a minute to do. And I talked about that reel going viral, at least by my standards. I ended up getting pretty much like 20,000 views in just a couple of hours, 1,000 something likes, a lot of comments. And by my standards, this is a lot. Every other reel besides that usually is like probably averaging around 1,000. Some reels only get like 200 views. Some of them get 6,000 views. So 20,000 views was definitely a lot for me. So while this was happening, the dopamine rush was definitely great, especially for someone like myself, who I've been sort of struggling on getting engagement on Instagram recently. It felt good, and I was really looking forward to maybe gaining something from it. My idea was maybe 20 followers, 15 followers, anything along those lines. It would have been nice because I've been sort of hard stuck at the general number that I'm at right now. And that didn't happen. In reality, I probably only gained like 5 followers, not much else. My real post after that didn't even get a lot of engagement at all, actually. So it's not like my account was being pushed more because I had one reel pop off. So while the moment was nice, it was definitely fleeting and I didn't get much out of it. The reason I'm telling you this isn't to be discouraging, but sort of share a perspective shift that I had that I think can really help you as a photographer trying to grow on Instagram. And if you're like me who, I don't enjoy making short form content, all of my, filmmaking work and videography work is definitely long form content. And my Instagram is focused on street photography. I sort of had a perspective shift that I think can help you. And I think it was very evident in this reel, but the idea of it is really just to use reels to give context and tell a story of your photography work. This reel is a very specific good example of that because I think these photos on their own are super average, and like this one comment said, they are ass. And to be honest, I don't disagree. They're very boring photos, very basic. However, because I made this reel and gave context to, the photos where I was sort of just walking and there was a trash pile, and in that trash pile was a broken mirror. So I decided to shoot these photos through that mirror. I think it makes the photos that much cooler, that much more interesting. Again, they're not fantastic photos, but I think it tells a story, teaches other photographers to sort of look out for stuff like that, and just gives a general cool context than just a basic, photo of a building and a reflection. I think from this, with most reels, this is sort of probably what we should be doing. And you don't necessarily have to be a street photographer, but I think giving context of the photos that we're shooting, our creative process, the settings we're using, and the settings that we're in, I think we can actually engage more with an audience and sort of teach people about photography, teach people about our work, and just in general have people, interact with us more. Sometimes as photographers, we get so caught up in shooting these photos, and, showing them to other photographers, showing them to other people, but we kind of forget that not everyone, has the same context that we had in the moment. And so I think my goal moving forward, from now on in posting reels is instead of posting super trendy stuff or short form video content or whatever, I'm really just going to be giving context to a lot of the photos I make, because I think there is a really interesting story to be told in a lot of the photos that I make. Instead of just being a still photograph, I can sort of show the setting that I'm in and sort of show, my creative process, which everyone's creative process is different. And so hopefully through that, people will learn, people will engage more, people will interact more. and hopefully we can, grow on Instagram. So I think for the next few months, this is what I'm going to be focusing on. I'm going to be focusing on making reels like this one. I'm going to give you some examples of reels that I'm talking about. Number one, the reel that I just did that went viral.
I am a photographer and I took this photo. That's it, thank you.
Again, I think that is like the perfect example of like taking really shitty photos but making them more interesting, because I just gave a more interesting context. I'm gonna start whenever I'm shooting sort of reflection shots or shooting through windows of storefronts and stuff like that, I'm going to be giving more context, sort of like I do with the POV photography videos. But obviously, instead of watching a 20-minute POV video that people seem to like because there is that context, for just a couple shots here and there when I'm shooting, I'm going to be taking out my phone and recording a 2-second clip and giving context to it, because at the end of the day, all of these reels are super easy to make and all you need is a smartphone to do them. The next reel, which I got inspiration from Evan Ramft, is a super easy one to do, but sort of just take a video of your camera or something, anything interesting, and show a series of images after that sort of just work together in a collection.
This is what happens when you expose for your highlights.
And I think the reason why this is good to do and gives context is it's not necessarily giving context to what you're shooting, but I think posting a reel like this gives context to sort of your creative vision for a series of images, right? If you post images like the one I did, which was high contrast images, it sort of puts things into perspective for the viewer to be like, oh, like this guy, this photographer is shooting and looking for things like this that are high contrast. And you can do this with, winter photos, summer photos, portraits, whatever it is. I think it's a super easy reel to make that shows context in the sort of work that you like to make, but at the same time is a little bit interesting. And the last reel example that is super, super simple to make, and I've done this a couple times already, is I do this when I'm doing a time lapse. You can do this for any shoot, is simply just take out your phone and record where you're at and record your frame. So sort of push your phone as you're recording to your LCD screen, showing what you're shooting, showing the LCD screen, and then just using an Instagram reel transition and then showing the final product of the image. This is probably the easiest and best example that I could use for this, because it's very easy to make and they do really well on Instagram. And then of course you want to pair this with using trending audios. The one that I used was like, I'm a photographer and I took this photo. Super easy to line everything up and very easy to make. The other one is there's an audio that's like, Instagram is telling me to post a reel, so I'm going to be a rebel and post a photo as a reel. That is another great audio to use. If you're going to be using music, you want to make sure you find the music that has that little up arrow in the corner, and that means a song is trending, and you definitely want to use that. That's going to do it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope this was useful or beneficial to some of you. I think my goal is to post more reels like this for the next couple of months and hopefully grow on Instagram, especially since I've sort of enjoyed making this type of stuff. So definitely subscribe, because I'm going to make a follow-up video to this at some point with my results. And yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace.